Welcome to the Inc. Productivity Tip of the Day. Today's tip: the one thing many leaders struggle with that can be your superpower, if you just ask. An expert opinion from Paul Rabel. Champions aren't born. They're made. Being the best at anything takes years of hard work combined with the right mindset. In this excerpt from his new book, The Way of the Champion: Pain, Persistence, and the Path Forward, from Portfolio, an imprint of Penguin Random House, Premier Lacrosse League co-founder Paul Rabel shares lessons from some of the greatest leaders in sports and business on how to become a true champion. Commonly, people building a company, leading an organization, and managing a team fall into the same trap. They don't ask for help. They feel they can't or shouldn't, that they are supposed to be the one who has all the answers, that they are supposed to be the one doing the helping. Same thing on the field. If you ask your coach for direction, it might be implied that you didn't study the playbook. Or worse, you don't care. In a study of over 20,000 people in positions of leadership, researchers found that the top characteristic leaders struggle with is asking for help. But the greats know that being vulnerable and asking for help are superpowers. Steve Jobs, while he was simultaneously the CEO of Apple Inc. and Pixar Animation Studios, said that building a great business is like trying to climb a mountain with a whole party of people. There's a lot of stuff to bring up the mountain, so one person can't do it alone. Howard Schultz, who took over as CEO of Starbucks in 1987 when there were only 6 stores and grew it into a global empire with more than 30,000 locations around the world, said, "The most undervalued characteristic of leadership is vulnerability and asking for help." Magic Johnson was one of basketball's greatest players. As a 5-time NBA champion and 3-time MVP, a major part of his success was his curiosity and inquisitiveness. In the early 1980s, Magic reached out to the Lakers' public relations team to ask for the names and phone numbers of everyone who was sitting courtside at his games. "I cold called 20 people and said, 'Will you go to lunch with me?'" he recalls. And they said yeah. Magic wanted to ask what made them successful and if there were ways he could help. Over his 13-year career, Magic accumulated almost $40 million in salary. Today, he's a billionaire. Among ownership in the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Washington Commanders, the Los Angeles Sparks, and LAFC, one of Magic's first investments was in Starbucks, a company whose franchises are all corporately owned, except the 125 locations that Magic negotiated with Howard Schultz over a lunch. Asking for help was difficult for me. I lacked vulnerability and wanted to prove to my coaches and teammates that I could get the job done myself, but most of the time I couldn't. So when I finally started practicing asking for help, I discovered 3 things. 1. I rarely found anyone who didn't want to help. People love to help. 2. I found I was building stronger relationships with those whom I showed this type of vulnerability toward. They could trust me. Asking for help is a pillar of honesty. 3. I was able to improve and get things done much faster with help. Schultz agreed. Business is built on relationships. Relationships are built on trust. And trust is built on vulnerability and transparency. So in whatever position of leadership or followership you occupy, ask for help. Be vulnerable. In business, sports, and life, vulnerability doesn't make you weak. It makes you an outlier. It's magic. That's it from Inc. You can find more business and entrepreneurial articles at Inc.com. Have a great weekend and come back next week for another tip from Inc.